small a, capital B. Fine, we know that we have capitals and then we have. So why don't it's the same A, is the same B?
Of course.
So we send this is A, capital B, and then we just tell us where to apply the capital and then the small. Yeah, not rather capital A.
Small. When not at that, you see, at that time it wasn't a waste of time.
A waste of time, yeah.
At that time it was quality education.
Okay.
Yes, but it has outlived its purposes.
Now.
Yeah, after teaching the education.
Wow.
Yazu abinda ke koyo kega.
All right. That's great. So, right, Mr. Diamond, before we now come and talk, now we've known what quality education is, okay? We'll now come and do the assessment and see the quality of education in our community, okay? Are we living it, okay? Have we left the other ones behind and now we are now living the current or not? But what do you also have to say about quality education?
Okay. Quality education comes in various forms.
Okay.
Now, you know, everybody has two conscious status. We have the subconscious and then the conscious. Now, quality education comes where you use the subconscious to educate the conscious.
Okay.
It sounds a bit technical.
Sure.
But let me break it down. Now, like Zico alluded to, where we say capital A, small b. Now, in the new trend, what happens is that you use play.
Okay.
In teaching kids, instead of just straightforward classrooms where you stand and just command the kids as to say this, read this. Now, when you look at the teaching system, it has changed in such a way that from the West, we always adapt from the West.
Sure.
Because they kind of invest a lot into research.
Yeah.
Unlike we just follow with the flow. So now what's happening is, imagine this: you allow a kid to fold a paper, and the kid is having fun. At the end process of folding the paper, the kid comes out with a boat.
Okay.
And you put the boat on water, and you ask the kid, "What's the name of that?" He calls it boat.
Boat.
It is imprinted in the child's mind subconsciously, and so whatever you teach the child about that boat. So you say, if you want to spell boat, it is B-O-A-T.
Okay.
Unconsciously, the child has had some play by folding paper. And the end result of that paper is a boat.
Okay.
Now the child subconsciously identifies with tangible, and out of that tangible, imprintedly is the word boat. Wherever the child sees the alphabet of boat, he can put it together and call it boat. You understand? That's quality. Now, when we come back to Zongo, what's happening in Zongo is that we need to move from the old ways to the new ways. Why? Because, like my brother rightly said, we have stuck to that old ways of teaching.
The small a capital.
And then 2 times 1, 2, 2 times 2.
Now the CC mass and 2, 4, 6. And then they just give you an answer.
Yes.
You understand?
Now let me show you something.
And they are sharper than the 2 times 1, 2.
Lately we've begun to applaud the National Science and Maths Quiz.
Yeah.
It's because the generation today are demonstrating a certain level of comprehension because they have had a level of quality education, and so they are able to process information faster. Than when we had our time. You understand? So how is it that they are able to do that? It's because now when the question is being asked, the kids have been taught how to come up with the answer deriving from the question. So immediately, they don't even need to write something. They've been psychologically trained to be able to process or analyze or critically look at questions and derive answers on the go.
Wow.
That's quality.
Okay.
You understand? So if you look at our education system and the performance of our brothers or our kids from the Zongo as compared to those outside, it's because you see the facilities the technical know-how, and then the human resource that will enable us be able to be at par with kids from the other privileged schools is deficient.
The human resource, are you talking about teachers and personnels?
Yeah, I'm talking about personnels.
Okay.
Yes, but there's a trend because the likes of us who have identified that we have been short for and decide to make corrections and not let those behind us fall short. It's what we are trying to do. And it's amazing if you go to some schools today which are being handled by young people. I must emphasize that schools that are being handled by young people in the Zongo today are transforming lives because they have understood and come to the realization that no, there's a new way of doing things, and they are adapting. So the Zongo is not a bad story. It's an evolving story.
Okay.
You know, there's this adage we say in our local language that say, excuse my language, say, I want to say it in Hausa, but it's difficult. Okay, I'll say it in English. You say, when the fool become wise, then the game is ended.
So, what's the need here?
Now I'm using that analogy because hitherto, in quotes, we the Zongo are being perceived to be...
Okay, so before we continue, this is... okay, that's break time, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they ring a bell, and then the students, I think they are going for assembly, right?
Yes.
That's assembly.
That's assembly.
Okay, so is there a modern way for this? Because I think this is what we saw as seniors.
Yes.
Some even, our school was better because realized others were using the car rim.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So basically, let me take this. You see, the issue of quality education does not necessarily mean that we are going to do away with, let's say, things around us in the betterment of our education. No, not at all. Because even currently, quality education is calling for the use of things around us to enhance education.
Yeah.
Are you getting the point? So if you are using the bell to ring a bell to signal people that it's simple, it's not wrong.
As long as they can hear you.
As long as they can hear you, and as long as the children actually understand that it's assembly time.
Assembly time.
That is good. No problem. So this is not entirely wrong. But then where we have where we have a teacher sitting, or I'm sitting in the class trying to teach probably ICT.
Okay.
And you know there is nothing to show, no pictures to show how the computer looks like, how the mouse looks like, how the what do you call it? How the CPU looks like. And they are just describing it. A computer is a machine like a TV and what. No. So you see, that does not really sync well. It's time that probably we need to make available some of these things, you know, in the schools to make the child actually have an appreciation of it. The system where you would have children sit on the ground, okay, that they are learning because of the absence of desks and chairs and tables, okay, which means the child would have to suffer to actually even feel comfortable to absorb. Will let us know, it's not quality education.
Because it's still going on.
It's still going on, so that is not quality education.
There are schools that when it's cloudy, they have to close.
Yeah. And then you get to a place where you realize that the school roofing is so dilapidated such that children would have to be scared when, you know, clouds gather.
Yeah.
Then that is not quality education, because you are not giving the child, an impression of what they want to see.
So, and in this case, the consistency is not applied here.
It's not applied.
And education too is consistent.
So recently, we actually attended a workshop organized by Global Fund for Children, and it was basically how we could use play, all right, to enhance learning. Good. Now, quality education will tell us that a child is not a person that can sit in the classroom, okay, straightforward, and then you are teaching focus. No. And you see, that even gives us a very powerful question on what focus really means.
Okay.
People think if I'm seated and I'm attentive like this is focus. Trust me, I might be attentive, and then whatever is happening in front of me, I don't know what is going on. I'm not in class. So then they incorporate play in the teaching and learning process, where the child is excited, they are actually coming out with their real self. You are using the play to teach them whatever they want to learn.
Okay.
You would allude to the fact that timetable, 2 timetable, 3 timetable and stuff. We learned it through play. Why? Because they incorporated music into it. So when I even ask you 7, 8, you will not be able to tell me fast now, but you start 7, 1, 7, 7, 2, 4, then it takes you to the answer. Why? Because when we were kids, they used music to teach us some of these things. So then it was actually learning by play. But as time goes on, we realize that we want to take the play out and then want to keep children fixated or young people fixated as if, the world is coming to an end that we are learning. And that's not quality education. So we need to understand that even though we are using old things, we can actually find a way of being creative, in the process. There were times where we used palm branches and banana husk to create a football in the absence of football. You can't say that is outmoded. No, because we're trying to make good use of things that are around us to do things that yes, we want to use. Someone wants to count, all right? First, we use counters to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you getting it? Now, we probably will not, the child will not know what counters is, even though they've been seeing it. And now even the Coke and stuff is bottles, But if you really want the child to really sink in well, the children, their parents use tomatoes in the house. They use onions. They use, what do you call it, plantains and stuff. You want to do simple addition. One of the creative ways to do that is to go and pick tomatoes that their parents have been using in the house. Bring it. How many tomatoes do I have? This is 1. If I add 1 is here, then 1 is here. If I add this 1 and 1 together, what do I get? There are 2 tomatoes. If I add 1 more tomatoes to it, how many tomatoes do I have? 3 tomatoes. Now, the child then automatically relates to it because he sees tomatoes every day. Now, this will make you realize that when the child goes home and they see their mother actually using tomatoes, now, they can just add 1 plus 1, 1 tomatoes to the other and it goes. You can look at our screen. You see we use blocks to do a table and then a chair, right? For young people to learn. Now, look at this. Fine, I can say that the teachers or the school owners have been a bit creative because in the absence, in the absence of the desks, they were able to use this. But the question is, in the 21st century, we are using this as a table and a chair. How sure are we that this is actually going to impact the child that is learning at that particular point in time?
Basically, this bar even look you. They have something. As furnitures. I mean, some people. The fact that they are learning outside is the problem.
Yes.
Okay, so
you see this? Good. Now, you see, it's not wrong to learn outside.
I'm not actually supporting the fact that they have.
Of course.
No. We're just appreciating the
situation.
Yeah.
But that's bad, actually.
Yes,
this,
I mean, like, especially in the 21st century.
Yes. We need furnitures for the kids too.
We need furniture.
Yes.
Look, let me tell you a research that was made by one sister organization.
Okay.
They went to one village, remote village, and they picked the children for an excursion in the north, very remote.
Wow.
They picked the children in a bus and then bused the children from wherever they are to Accra. When they got to Accra, they were showing the children, this is the Flagstaff House, this is that. That was the only thing they did. They didn't tell the children anything, nothing. They didn't tell them learn hard, no, there was no message, no nothing. They just went around, showed the children nice places, and then they went back to where they picked the children from the village. No, as children as they were, these were children between the ages of 13 to 17. They were feeding them in the bus, and they were just going back. When the children got back to where they picked them from, when the children got down off the bus, they started crying. They were all crying. Were they crying because the journey has ended? No. Were they crying because they were beaten? No, because they were excited. They were giving them everything. But why were they crying? They were crying because they have now come to appreciate that the reality they were living in and what is actually happening in a different place is a different ball game altogether. The children have been exposed to how life is, real life.
Real life.
So if
they were in a different world.
They were in a different world, a very different world altogether. So you understand, the brain appreciates quality education, but until it is actually made available to them, they will not value it. Look at this. This is a creative thing. In the absence of
the flights of
teaching and learning materials, teachers have actually created that themselves and they are using. Okay, so these are some of the. This is an innovative way, but the question is 21st century. You understand? So this is nice. This is innovative. This is okay. At least the child can also have an appreciation that this is what happens into the system.
In the
but
stomach.
As time goes on, are we able to actually bring in the real thing for the children to have a look at? Because children probably in some part of Accra are exposed to some of these things. So quality education really means a lot. It actually means even the teacher that is teaching, the one who is even supervising the teacher to teach, the resources available to ensure that the quality education is assured, and even the technical know-how of how teachers are even supposed to administer teaching is one of the teaching and learning lessons is one of the key things we also need to look at, because at times some teachers can be exposed to unlimited resources around them, but unfortunately they can't give out quality education. Why? Because they are not in the right frame of state. They do not have the technical know-how or the experience to administer that.
Okay.
So now it turns out, even the teachers, how we are going to grow them. That is why Zongo, we are always crying that it's time for us to revolutionize Zongo. For example, we come to the Makaranta system.
And that's education.
That is education. We always say that children are paying more attention to the school living than Makaranta. Well, we can't keep lashing our children to go to Makaranta because they need to get up and want to go there themselves.
What is she doing? Like making and taking?
Okay. Yeah, she's teaching.
Let me speak on that.
Yes, Mr. Diamond.
Now, when it comes to quality education, there are certain variables you should consider. 1, syllabus. 2, TLMs, teaching and learning materials. 3, you also have to incorporate play. For attention grabbing. Now, what she is doing is to use a teaching material to demonstrate and then get the attention of the kids. So you see, color variations. Anything that is centered around kids must have varying colors. Because psychologically, you must have colors to get attention of anybody. Kids are attracted to color. If you want your child, let me tell you something surprising. Kids between the ages of 0 to 2. If you feed them with things that are not colorful, their eating habit is low.
Like feeding? If
you're feeding your child
food.
Yeah, food. The plate must be colorful. The spoon must be colorful. And all those inhabit the kids wanting to eat more.
Wow.
So if you watch kids in the Zongo,
my kids
they are born with that basic principle of variety. Now when they are growing, then they are being conscientized into one way of life. That's stereotyping. That's programming. You see, so the kids have not yet been programmed, and that's why they are so free to absorb. And in order for them to absorb, you need color. You need toys. You see, so now our entreat that we kind of bring toys, and the toys should be something that will instigate learning.
So I was actually coming there like, what do you think should be done to bridge the gap? So
like I was saying, the toys are very essential.
From there we go to the BCE.
So the toys are very essential. You might take it for likely that there's this toy, that local toy, where we put sand into a container and then we shake and give to kids. Right now they make small plastic balls and then they put some and then the kids are shaking. Do you know what that teaches the child? It's sensory, it's inquisitive, and then the shape it carries. When a child carries that ball and shakes, he's attentive to sound, particular sound. If you put variations of objects, if you put beans, it gives different sound. If you put rice, it gives different sound.
Wow, that's interesting.
You understand. And then now you relate that sound to maybe an animal. Maybe rain. If you put rice in it and you shake it, it sounds like rain. On the top of the roof.
Roofing, falling on the roof.
You get it. So those are sensory way of teaching kids.
Lele. Is it good? It's interesting. I mean, really, really interesting. And these are things that we have around us.
Just make use of everything.
I think the technical know-how you talked about, this is where it actually comes
exactly
in. So finally, what do you think should be done to bridge the gap before we talk about the BEC that is around the corner?
So technically, education is not about the teacher alone. It's not about the school. As I said earlier on, it starts from home. First of all, we need to now begin to make our parents understand that they are the number one heroes of their children.
Okay.
And as you being the number one hero of your child, it means that you need to find a way of trying to let your child know that they are the best version of themselves. And so these words of affirmation are extremely important in the life of every single human being. Even as adults as we are, we have wonderful feelings when people actually make us use words of affirmation. And so it's time for us to let our children know that they are special, they are unique, they are the best version of themselves. And this must be done almost every single day. I wake up and I tell my small girl, you are special, you are unique, you are wonderful. I started telling her when she was like 8 months ago.
In our communities, Zugwa.
You know, so at that point in time, you at the age of 8 months, I started telling my girl that even though she doesn't understand English, you know, whenever I start telling her, even if she's crying and I tell her you are powerful, you are special, you are unique, she starts to smile.
Wow.
So number one, we need to let people understand who they are. Number two,
Zico, this information, I want it to go direct to them. To Allah Kaima Hausa.
Number one, Soboda Allah. Zongo. Number one, Abinda Ze Berry Yara Sukoyo Abu quality education. Ba na teacher kawai ba the chicken school.
To samu himma, samu kwazo.
Very good. Ena fito ga uwaye the teachochi, the atama young ngwa. Isa mu fara wurin uwaye. Ina da imani kaman akwai wani uwayen da ke cikin community su ba su taba sun fada madiyan su kaman kana kokari ba. Ko ke special ne, ko ke unique ne, ko ke powerful ne. Na akwai dewa inde yaro mugu ke mugu yaro ni ke excuse my language ke shege ni ke zuku ni ken kakato an zage shi to inde yayi mugu an zage shi in yayi kirki ayabe shi mana
haka
akwai kirkin da yaro zai yi sai ka gan baba kaman bai gani ba sai ka tambaye shi me yasa sai ce wai ban son cikin kan shi mai dadi no ba haka nan bane lokaci ya kai kowani uwa ko uba saboda Allah saboda annabi in muka tashi kowani da safe mu fadi ma yaran mu kaman kana da kyau ke powerful ne ke cikin duniya duka ke ne mai wayo ka fadi mai aka
okay
yes ka fadi mai kaman cikin duniya
ba gan kaman zai kara mai wani girman kai tafiya with
no duba in ba fadi mai ba wa zai fadi mai ka gane ko in kai ya kafa da mai cikin duniya duka kai ne mai wayo shi ka bari gane kaga wayon na kuma akwai yanda ake use shi at that stage in in ka fadi mai kamar shi ne mai wayo ina feel okay wow babana ya ce ni ne mai wayo to in yake inda ya fi a use wayo ya use wayo don ya san kamar baban shi ya fadi mai kamar shi ne mai wayo ka gani ko sai ka bari ya gane kamar duwa kina da kyau in namiji ne kana da kyau we need this words of affirmation zai ke wani lokaci kuma yaro na homework shi ko wani abu bai yi sai zuku baka wannan time fi a bashi kaya ka yi you can make it you can do it shi ka bari yayi You can do it. You can do it. Wannan abubuwa efi aitame aita fadima yaran na shi suna move to the next forward. Secondly, mu duba dressing yaran mu. Rigunan da suke sa su zo school. Saboda Allah ya mini very very particular. Yaro in a dress. Kagan baba yanda muka dress. Muna feel mu ce we yo na sa suit ko barin ja hannu na da kyau. Na sa suit. Shehu ya sa kaftan ya iron. Mu doke shi kaman da rigan da na sa bai da kyau. Ban feel comfortable. Ban jin dadi in yi magana yanda nake so because ya affect na throughout. To kagan yanda na sa inda nazo kace riga na yayi kyau ko na after parliament sai ka bar kai na ya kato. To yara inda suka sa rigan da bai da kyau ba ayon ba
suturan su gaba daya
suturan su bai da kyau confidence yaro na zuwa kasa.
Wow.
Na baba ya zo 1% ko 10% na yaro ina zuwa 100% confident level shi times 10 yanda yake feel saboda yaro bai da baki yayi fadi kamar ban da confidence ina dokan wannan na a bit down emotion shi yasa saboda Allah mu duba muka je school su mu yaran da suke dress neat in na ce neat ba sabon riga ba a'a in rigan ya nyage a doki alura a dunke aka wanke a neme iron a iron agoga kyau kagan sofo riga amma yaro ya sa iron ya yi neat ya sa socks shi ya fito cikin takalmi shi maybe ba sabo ba amma an wanke mai ya yi neat in ya fito yana da wani confident ka duba yar in ka je school wanga ba wai ina fadi wanda yake bane ina da yaran school in muka zama cikin classroom muka duba yaran da suka dress neat da waɗanda ba su dress neat ba absorption rate so daban.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very true.
Really?
We can take it today and go and show you.
Wallahi na yan keka kaje ka duba.
So it means that ina instill one confidence.
Yes, still confidence cikin system yaro. Number 2, kagan ka je class yaran da ba su jin magana cikin class ka duba rigan su.
Wow. That's true though because we've all been to school before.
Yes. Yaron da kuma subhanallah yaro kuma da bai jin magana ana ce mai bai jin magana ka ba shi riga mai kyau rigar shi na the next week ka iron mai ka sa mai shoe neat socks white shoe neat and polish riga iron wannan dai ya behave straight
ya gentle
ba we an fadi ba mun try it mun research it is there.
Wow.
Yes. Esa, we need to look at abubuwan da yaran mu ke sawa ina da very important. The third point, ya fi mu ta kula da yara. Kula da yara how? Kagan kaman yaro ya kai diyan shi school. Bai taba ya taka school ya je ya find out ya yaro shi ke zuwa ba. Bai taba ya taka wurin ba. Me yasa? Ya fi ke je so they were wadansu suna gan kaman teachers nan they are like their enemies. Saboda Allah, how can a teacher da ke yanka ke je ka sa cikin hannun shi zama maka enemy?
That's serious. I mean,
yes,
it's serious. And I'm going to say na ce mana tuwa Korea har yau har gobe. It's really 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 serious. Ina ban mamaki ma wallahi.
To anna wanga ina use school na as an example. Yanzu waransu musulmai suna yin sosai mutane zongo waransu suna yin. Duwa akwai waransu ka gan ya zo ya diana ya behavior shi yake ya kokarin shi yake. Aba komi zamu ya mu zana cikin terminal report ba.
That's true.
Ba komi kuma zamu ya mu kira kan mu fadi maka ba. Dukan muna gan kaman ba ka tambaya ba diyan ka ne o. In kai ba ka tambaya ba babu yau mu zo muna fadi maka. Akwai waransu da ke tambaya mu. Esa energies mu ya je wurin da suke tambaya mu. Mu ta fadi musu. To ke uwa ko uban da ke je close to teacher ka. Ina bari teacher hankalin shi na zuwa kan yaronka. No matter how stubborn the young keke, kamar mu inda muke zuwa school, la ilaha illallah. An ba duba an san gidan mu. Esa kai kankan kai sakiyanci.
Haka.
Because as ke da kan san kuma in kai nyamawa dai before ke gida ma magana ya kinke gida. Esa ke an prepare maka wani bulala ne a aje special. To ran da zaka yi mistake tice maka bulala zai fadi kamar ya maka bulala. To before a tambaye ka me kai ke ka tun sabulala sai yanzu abaka kunni atambe ka me kai sai ka fadi ga abin da dai to sai yanzu za determine whether abaka kara maka bulala ko isa
Allah ya wana
ami so wannan abubuwa yafi mu duba then that last but not the least
okay mun zo kan wannan last one inshallah time na ta guduwa kinziko na gan you on fire like
he's passionate about school,
about education. Education is abin that really by the money. So Mr. Newton, BC is around the corner. When are we starting?
I'll far next two weeks. So sir, week in guy carry. Next week it carry Monday she's a far.
All right. So many preparations so far. Gameda she BC Kaduba fear na mukai and so are the students really ready?
Okay. We started off BC tour 2 years ago, and it has been impactful.
Okay.
We are proud to say that we have caused lives to change.
Okay.
We have repurposed the desires and the ambition of young ones. This is because there are testimonies that are there. I'll cite one example. UBH, Omar Banatab, which is within the Zongo. We were there, we motivated the kids and empowered them to have belief in themselves. We made them understand that they are the best version of themselves. Wow. We made them understand that they can do it because they have all the resources and capability to do it. After that, because they are kids, you must give them something to chase. Every human being, if you give somebody a goal or you give somebody a reward for that person to chase, that person will go after it.
Okay, that's
yes, in doing so, the boy in the middle in khaki shorts and a white top is a product of that school.
Okay.
Before then, the school has never ever gotten a single digit in BEC.
Wow.
After our encounter with them, he said he will get aggregate 12. That is what he said he would get, based on the affirmation and based on the interactions
like
we had. He said he would get aggregate 12. But when the BEC came, he had aggregate 8. And that's the first ever in the school, in the history of the school.
This is somebody who was, thinking about 20, 30,
yes,
35.
Yes. And so we promised that anybody who had a single digit will get a laptop. And so yesterday we presented him with a laptop.
Beautiful.
You see, so this is what we are talking about. We are bringing quality by making them understand that it is possible.
I see you guys.
It is possible. So the father was so excited. And the way we are breaching the gap is to reorient them on the possibilities. And reorienting them is to give them that enabling environment, not just only psychologically, but also giving them the opportunity. That is why very often than not, we take professionals to engage with them.
Okay.
Children want to be doctors. They've never seen a doctor. They've never had an opportunity to be with a doctor. Children want to be newscasters or news presenters.
Broadcast journalists.
Lawyers. They have never seen people in that nature. Hitherto, in our time, we used to have a lot of excursions. Today, it's not like that. So instead of going out for excursions, we are bringing the professionals to interact with them. This one, they have a one-on-one interaction with them. And so it's more impactful. Those are some of the ways we are breaching. I think Zico also have some.
Right, so Zico, BC is 2 is more cool. Okay, so many some of the things I've seen that you presented laptop to.
He's not in Presec. He's doing science.
He's in Presec. Yes, okay. So this year, how far?
So this year, we launched a project again this year. It was actually a project we didn't want to do this year because Sheba Musamu support.
Wow.
So Kowa Bitenyemuba. Last year, Makowa Bitenyemuba.
Yanga Ghana Education Service na kalonku yanga watching.
Last year, Kowa Bitenyemuba. Last 2 years, Kowa Kuma Bitenyemuba. This year, muka ce chale mun gaji bari mu zama maybe yama abin nan be help aka da muka ce yankalin mu sai headmaster kira mu ce chale kun zo school because ya fi ku zo ku ba yaran nan kwazo sai ce ku to ba ka fadi mu na tun da zuba sai yana call mu amma bai same mu ba sai samu zo sai muka ce to bar mu jara amma yaron ka guda ya samu a grade 8 It's a way car promise on laptop. So can I was a laptop and she told mum promise when your laptop. Oi to yazai yaro de tunde de car promise she Africa me. Kachika. So we actually tried as much as we can to get a laptop for the child. And you see, the school now was a school that had 18, aggregate 18 as their best grade. She muka je the intervention. In the muka intervention ga, wani atambea me muka yi, munje mun ba da kwazo, munje mun uplift kwazon yaran na. Munje mun bar sun gane kamanduwa, abinda ka koyo duka kaya kai, ke kuma da baka koyo komai ba an ce ke zuku ne. Ya sauran 1 week ga ya yi sake komi isa abin da ya fi ne muka gwada musu yadda za su koyo abu ku yi timetable ku yadda za ku yi ku neme yadda za ka ka koyo ka read mun ka gwada musu yadda hankalin yake aiki because definitely in za ka je ka zana exam abin da ka taba karanta in ya zo ka tuna yes isa mun ce ko kana karanta ka baka tuna abin da kike karanta saboda Allah karanta ke da karanta ka yi ta zuwa as kana read za kan nan in lokacin yake ka tuna so wannan fira muka yi musu kuma muna da poem of affirmation da muka create mu da kanmu poem of affirmation nan in ke da kanka ka doki wannan poem ka karanta ka feel kamar no ka samu wani confidence kanka da zaka je ka zana
can do spirit
kaya ka samu wannan can do spirit nan say the last but not the least muka samu certificate in BEC nan to mun impact cikin hankalin yaran nan shine ke da kanka ka gwada aggregate da kake son ka samu in kana son ka samu 10 ne ka zana kowane subject da grade da kake son ka samu in muka kare sai mu calculate best 6 nan shi ka zana grading ka wuri to wannan grading nan in ka je gida inda cikin dakin ka ko kan fridge ku ka je ka manna shi wurin nan kowanne safi in ka tashi sai ka duba ga grade da nake son sa Allah ka tanye ni samu
amin
to wannan nan ina bari ke da kanka ka san grade da kike son ka samu ka san inda kike ya baka kwazo ka je closer to your books kai me ka yi ka koyo da kyau ka yi ka je ka samu isa abinda muka yi kenan shi kowane yaro yayi to alhamdulillah shi every last year muka samu wannan positive response da muka samu yaro ya samu aggregate 8 cikin Umar Bunata bai taba ya happen ba
that's beautiful
isa ba mu kuma mu ce kaman saboda aikin da mu muka yi nan kide eber yaro ya samu aggregate 8 wannan kuma ina gwada kaman teachoci da headmaster especially headmaster UBH Mr. Umaru Suleimana ina kokari sosai to wannan kuma na gwada kaman teachocin nan sun aiki sosai to me yasa muke stress kan wannan abu muna stress kan wannan abu kaman ba it is not about being in an international school it is not at all teachocin da ke teach cikin government schools mun nan sun yi wannan mark na a year a hit kamar yanda yan private schools ke yi in dai muka ba su the support that they need. This year, Zamu close to about 57 schools throughout Medina constituency. Amanda muka sa kan Facebook, mun samu waransu Jamestown sun kira kamar suna so mu zo, mun samu Sawa mu zo, wani ma suna biye. Saboda Allah biye bro and hafu kira da nisa sai muka fara
ministry ya zo ya taimaka ministry ya zo mu da police convoy shi mu inshallah. So that's a wonderful abin sosai. I'll come your final messages to the students in the zasu je su rubuta mu zo kan wannan but not a few messages nan ganga son current and then take your words of inspirations to these people. Assalamu alaikum. Nice programming. Allah make you and Baina TV management great. Zico, you have said it all. But Muslim community have no competition in their children. May Allah have mercy on us. I mean, kindly remember to include your name and your location that you are sending the message from. Joseph Sagacious, with great move. Okay. Nuhu Yusuf Caesar, great initiative. Mubarak Salifu Chentiwuni, I wish we had this 10 or 12 years ago. A kind of love emoji, right? Thank you so much. Wonderful message. So Mr. Diamond, your final words, your message to all my
brothers and sisters in the Zongo. the BEC is just another process. You can pass it because you've done more difficult tasks in school. This is no hurdle for you. Don't be afraid. You have learnt, you have read, and you have all the wisdom and all the capabilities to pass the BEC. It's just another process. Relax. You can do it because we have hopes in you to be able to do it.
Thank you. Mr. Zigo.
No.
The watching camera kai magana da yaran ka.
All right, so ni zai magana da kowa baki daya. Zongo mu na mun tashi kenan. Ba abin da zai stop mu zamu. Kuma inda muke so mu meet, so dewa tunda ana ya cewe zongo dai ba mu ya mu yi shi a yanzu dai zongo mu ya mu yi kuma mun yi, because mu da muke yin nan ba mu fito ko wani different community ba, mu fito zongo kuma muna yi, kuma haka nan kuma akwai mutane da wanda suke wurin su abubuwa da dama da ke taimaka community. Abinda mu duka muke so mu have ne cikin at the back of our mind mu ya mu yi. Number 2, muna son kowane uwa da uba ya gane kaman diyankan da kike da shin nan wanda Allah ya baka kenan, kuma ka gane kaman wannan yaron nan ya kawo wani abu mai muhimmanci cikin duniya inda ke efi ka guide shi ya samu amfanin wannan abu. Amma ba mu mu guide yara da negative words kaman kai zuku ne, kai baka da kyau, kai kunni ka da karfi. Ba mu mu gwada, ba mu mu rene yara da wadannan words. In yaro ya abin da bai dace ba, wannan time an ya kira shi ai mai magana ko ai mai wani bulala dai kankani, kuma mu fadi mai kaman kai zuku ne. A'a, yanzu ya fi mu sake maganganun da muke yi ma yaran mu bar su gane kaman kana da kwazo, ke mai hankali ne, ke mai ilimi ne, Allah kiyaye ka, Allah baka hikima, ke mai hikima. Warannan zai bar yaran nan energies da suke da shi cikin system su ya yayi me ya fito. Then the last but not the least, mu kuma da muke cikin
there's a breaking news and Nason take it, but we'll obviously have you guys in the studio again before BEC inshallah. Akwai course kuma day one da ke shigowa, people want to talk. Inshallah, we've exhausted like 1 hour already.
And I didn't feel like it.
We'll obviously have this discussion again. There's this breaking news from Kumasi, the Damba Festival in Nanda Akai. And Kasang Damba Festival in Nankuma is it's a festival of fire, the fire festival. So chicken fire, I don't know, someone was shot or something in Kumasi. So regional correspondent in Kumasi, Malamino Megaskia, the details of the report. And hello, salaam alaikum, Malamino. Assalamu alaikum, Malamino.
Wa alaikum salam.
Right, ya al'umman Kumashi, very unfortunate.
Al'umman Kumashi lafiya lau.
To gashi mun samu wani labari na bacin rai, ban sani ba ko haka ne ko ba, menene dan Allah ka ba mu cikakken labaran.
Gaskiya wannan mummunan labari da ya faru a jiya ne da dare lokacin da waton kabilan da gwamba a nan jihar Ashanti wayansu suke gudanar da wato fire festival, wato gefa wuta kenan da ake faɗi a Hausance. Wato wannan gefa wuta dai an yi kamar cewa wannan lokaci ba za a yi ba, ganin cewa wani abin da ya faru cikin Aswasi wanda ake zargin 'yan sanda cewa sun buga wani hal ya je lahira. Wato manyan dagon masu sauna suka shirya cewa dai wannan shekara ba za a yi ba, domin jiya za a yi, ganin cewa 'yan sanda da mutane unguwan Zango dai suna da wani takun saka kan batun wannan mummunan lamarin da ya faru wanda aka buge Sala mai shekara 34 har lahiran nan. Wato jiya da dare da aka fara wannan ba da sanin manyan kabilan Dagombawa na jihar Ashanti ba. Wato bayan wannan tattakin da suke yi sun wuce Falale zuwa shiga Ababu number 1, aka samu labarin da muka samu da cewa bindigan ya tashi. Yanda aka yi bindigan ya tashi ne, wato wani ne yake gadara cewa ya ci maganin bindiga a halbe shi ba zai shiga ba. Harbin da za a halbe bai same shi ba, gaskiya ya je samu mutane uku nan, wato wanda ya kwan babu, wato Masaudu Abdulaziz mai kimanin shekara 15, yaro karami ne. Sannan mutane biyun na kuma bindiga ya albaru ya tabe su nan. Yanzu haka muna bibiya mu ga wani majinyata ma aka kai su, amma ba mu samu labari majinyatan da aka kai su. Wannan abin tashin hankali ne ga shugabannin Dagomba na jihar Ashanti, ganin cewa sun yi hani cewa wannan shekara ba za a gefa wuta ba. wa'ansu suka zagaya suka je suka hassasa wannan yanzu haka hankali na tashi amma yanzu haka dai 'yan sanda na airport district command kuma wanda batun wannan sila mai shekara 34 wanda ake zage 'yan sanda da buga shi da kashe shi suke rike da wannan magana kuma to amma abin mamaki kuma ne abin al'ajabi ranar talatin da ya gabata wato rafa ne shi sila bayan sila shi ya samu ajalin shi a ranar lahad da dare rafa ne shi kuma ran talata shi kuma cikin dare ya samu ajalin shi kuma ya koma ga Allah aka bisa shi ranar laraba da safe to wannan yaro mai suna Masa'udun ga kuma da wannan bindiga ya same shi har shi kuma Allah ya karbi ransa shi kuma dan yar uwan shi silangan nan ne da aka kashe shi wato gida dai yanzu haka dai sun samu rasuwa masu zafi guda uku gabadiya abu ne wanda yake wannan dangi suke cikin hali ne suke cikin bacin rai yanzu haka dai wato iyayen yaron suna tasha airport police station suna koro abinda ya faru ko abinda suka je ya faru ga ɗansu to amma wannan magana yanda ya zo yanda gwambawo ba za su zauna kai ba su dai duk waɗanda suka je suka hassasa wannan ya janyo wannan batu wannan yaro ya rasa ransa mai kimanin shekara 15 mai suna Masaudu za su bar a hukunta mai shi domin me sun ga yanayi yake kuma ya unguwan Goro yana cikin unguwa da ya zamana inda wannan 'yan sanda suka ake zargin cewa sun bugi wannan ya mutu sun ce wai su da 'yan sanda dai ba za su iya zama wuri daya ba saboda shi 'yan sanda wurin da kan suna zama ko ta kwana ne so shi kowane hari za a kawo musu za su iya su magance so shi wannan abin da ya faru abu ne wanda yake yana da tashin hankali kwarai ya zama na dangi daya mutane uku ne suka mutu a cikin sati daya tun daga Lahad har zuwa jiya da dare a ranar Alhamis nan daren Juma'a.
Right, Malaminu mai gaskiya mun gode sosai don Allah ka dan bibiyo wannan
za mu yi bibiyar wannan batu ko me zai biyo baya
duk abin da ya fito ba da Allah kaka
musulmai
ima jama'a ruwa da shi a fito da shi a sanata al'umma mun gode sosai da aiki kuma muna gadda mutane kuma shi kafa daya right assalamu alaikum right gentlemen unfortunate daga kuma shi kenan a Tenkon Monday muka yi batun mutuwan wannan mutum kuma in the family an samu mutuwa guda uku. Really sad. Allah Jikammeshi. And we've exhausted our time already, unfortunately. But we will definitely have you in the studio again to continue this discussion, especially with the training that Ake Bayero. And I know you have tough days ahead of you.
Yeah.
57 schools. 57 schools.
We are now
right.
With
and Ghana Education Service and Ministry of Education, inshallah, I know they are watching. And inshallah, expect call on Subi. Right. Thank you so much. Ishaq Abubakar Ziko Newton. And then Diamond
Freeman
Mikado. Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you so very much.
Right.
Thank you so very much.
To jama'a na muka kawo karshen shirin Tsarin Safiya na wannan sati. Insha Allahu idan Ubangijin Allah ya yarda ranar watan Monday za mu kawo muku nada watan edition na Tsarin Safiya tare da ni Amir Mukhtar da kuma technical man on duty Sami da kuma Dani da two Masakiyas and then also producer na Halima Enupi Audu and been having this wonderful discussion with Freeman, Diamond and then Kinziku. Thank you so much. Nine na Amir Mukhtar. Assalamu alaikum.